think about you all the time. Miraculous Soulmate AU, written and narrated by MyImaginationFlows. This is an Audiofic / art process video. Welcome Miraculers to my first ever YouTube video. If you're only interested in the good stuff, skip to the timestamp listed on the screen for the fic. If you're still here, hello. Similar to our beloved miraculous wielding superheroes, I choose not to share my identity, so for now I'm just MyImaginationFlows. Well, until I think of a catchier alias, that is. Anyway, a week ago I published my first fanfic, and today I'm publishing my first audiofic YouTube video for the third story I wrote, which was only 4 to 5 days ago. Suffice to say, I'm extremely inexperienced and new to all of this. For starters, the art process time-lapse is horrendous, and I'm not sure I got my reading voices down yet, but I'll do my best to learn and improve every day. If my narrating speed is too slow or too fast for you, please feel free to change the speed of the video using YouTube's control settings on the bottom right, or if you're on mobile, top right. As always, let me know what you think of the story and leave some feedback down below in the comment section. Alright, I'm officially done monologuing. On with the video. September 15th. The first shared thought they ever had was extremely intrusive. Adrien hadn't expected anything to happen when he suddenly woke up with a new instinct that urged him to just telepathically send a message to someone. Hello! The simple word that had echoed in Marinette's mind was not her own. That much she knew. But even though the source was unknown to her, she still felt safe. The voice felt too familiar for her to freak out over the fact that someone else is talking in her mind. Hello? Her reply to him had confirmed the new magical abilities he held. Adrien was never one to believe in such fantasies, but ever since he found a tiny godlike creature in his bag along with a jewelry box that contained a miraculous, he had no option but to allow magic to consume his life. Now that it's only been a few weeks since he and Ladybug had been freeing victims from okumas around Paris, he wondered if this new telepathy had anything to do with his superpowers. Milady? Is that you? Cat? How can I actually hear your voice in my head right now? Oh my god, am I akumatized? Yes, you are. And I'm Hawkmoth. Adrien was sure that if he could feel what Ladybug is doing right now, that she would be rolling her eyes at his joke. I never knew miraculous holders can communicate telepathically. Neither did I. This superhero thing just gets cooler by the day. Doesn't it, Bugaboo? I told you to stop calling me that. This would clearly be helpful during battles, but I cannot have you flirting with me at all times of the day. Aw, and here I thought you were finally warming up to me. Not a chance, kitty. I love when you call me that. Yuck, I'm praying there's an off button that comes with this thing. Let me see what it's about with my call me. Tiki was already staring at the young girl before she had a chance to inquire her about her new telepathic abilities. Marinette? The Kwame looked at her like she had two heads. Your face expression changed like 7 times in the last minute. Are you okay? Marinette chuckled when she realized how absurd she looked like having that dialogue with Cat Noir in her head. I'm okay, Tiki. Just talking to Cat Noir. How come you've never mentioned we can talk to each other telepathically? Tiki looked even more confused than before, if that was even possible. You were talking with Cat Noir in your head? Like, you could hear him? That's not something that comes with the miraculous. Marinette stared dumbfounded at the Kwame, unsure if she had just had a stroke and imagined her partner talking with her. You still there? Yup. Nope, it wasn't all in my head. She hadn't meant to say that out loud, but now Tiki surely thought she was crazy. I've seen this happen once before several centuries ago, with a previous holder. That explains why you kept randomly blushing. Now it was Marinette's turn to be confused. She stared at the Kwame, hoping an explanation would follow, but when that didn't come, a defensiveness took over her. I was certainly not blushing, and I'm worried about what you're implying here. That dumb cat just kept teasing me, that's all. Anyway, what happened with your previous owner? Why can't I communicate with Cat Noir like this? Tiki contemplated for a moment if she should answer her master, ultimately deciding that she wasn't going to be the one to break the news to her. You should go talk with Master Fu. He will have answers for you. Marinette hadn't expected her to dodge her question like this. Anxiety started to fill her, and she prayed that her partner would have the answers she was looking for. What did your Kwame say? I'm starting to get worried here. Oh, I had hoped Tiki would have answered you. Plague wasn't really helpful. What did she say? She told me to go ask Master Fu, but this had nothing to do with the Miraculous either. Plague said the same thing, although it involved a lot of whining about how I don't feed him enough and that I need to give him more camembert if I wanted answers. How often do you have to bribe him? Every single day. Okay, now I'm definitely starting to freak out. About Plague? Don't worry, he doesn't actually withhold anything from me when I really need it. He just... No, not about your Kwame's obsession with cheese. I think we're connected in a way beyond the Miraculous. Like soulmates? What the fuck? How did you send me a winky face and thought? Also, please don't say that or else I'm gonna vomit. Me youch, my lady. You wound me. If you want me to stop flirting with you, please let me know. I wouldn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. No! No. Of course not. Don't be silly. Oh, okay. I was worried for a minute there. Wouldn't want my bugaboo to be upset with me. You're blushing again, Tiki said in a sing-song voice, eyes still glued to the magazine she was flipping through. This time, Marinette could feel the heat creep up on her face. One look in the mirror had confirmed the rose-colored hue that, unbeknownst to her, crept up on her cheeks. She didn't even want to contemplate what this meant, neither the fact that she blushed, nor the high possibility that they were soulmates was going to cross her mind until she had gotten answers from Master Fu. October 26. Marinette often wondered if her telepathic abilities came with her Miraculous, but a quick chat with Master Fu revealed it had nothing to do with that and everything to do with soulmates. The same thing happened with him and Marianne after all. Although, since it always seemed too close to magic, the young girl chose not to share the secret with anyone. Adrien had done the same, of course, but it's not like he was the type to share such personal information with others. He trusted his friends, obviously, but he just always fell into the habit of keeping private things, well, private. Besides, he was sure if his father got word of this, he would somehow find a way to stop him from communicating with her. They both weren't sure why they hadn't just outright revealed their identities to each other yet. Master Fu had told the superheroes that since they were soulmates, they were exempt from the identity rule. They had talked about doing it before, ultimately deciding to make it into a game. There were no rules, guidelines, or restrictions. The aim of the game was simple. The first person to uncover the other's identity was the winner. It was up to you to reveal as much information about yourself as you wanted. Just do whatever you needed to do to win. November 9th. The class settled in as their geography instructor came in and placed his belongings on the desk with a frown etched on his face. Sometimes the students wondered if their teacher hated the subject more than they did. But when half the students had already prepared to start dozing off even before the bell had rung to announce the beginning of class, it was clear the hate was mutual. Adrien didn't mind though, because for some reason this was always the class that he had chatted with Ladybug the most. Could you even call it that? Chatting? Whatever it was, he was grateful his history teacher was as boring as he was and requested minimal participation. So while others prepared to doze off, Adrien just sat back and waited for her to talk to him. Isn't it distracting that I can send you a thought whenever I want? Like, what if you were in class right now? I am, actually, and I don't mind because even if you're not putting thoughts in my head, I still think about you all the time, Bugaboo. Oh, I sometimes forget you also go to school. Sorry, I don't want to distract you. No worries, my lady. If we weren't talking right now, I would most likely be asleep. The class I'm in is notorious for being boring. I know the ones. This history class will be the death of me. Adrien abruptly turned in his seat and looked back to survey his classmates behind him. If you couldn't tell by the fact that she was the only one who looked lost in her thoughts, then it was surely by the striking similarities between his classmate and the superheroine, who also happened to be the love of his life, literally. The young boy turned back to the front and placed his arms behind his head, closing his eyes and sending a thought her way. Hey, Marinette. I win. Also, hi. I'm right in front of you. Adrien heard her squeal behind him, but didn't turn back to look. Now that he knew the girl who sat behind him every day was his soulmate, he wasn't going to spend a single more second in this class awake. He put his head on his desk and started to drift asleep, content with finally winning the game. Thank you for listening to my first ever YouTube video. Don't hesitate to let me know what you thought of it down below. The Soulmate series will be a collection of unrelated, non-continuous one-shots revolving around the idea of soulmates. For more information, check the description. If you'd like to see more of my stories, check me out on MyImaginationFlows on AO3 or Wattpad. I don't want to make it a habit of having long intros and outros, so this is it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye, little miraculers.